Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a review on my account, specifically a review on my jinwoo currently, showing what type of artifacts I'm using, the stats what are looking like, and the overall combat power of my jinwoo, and what you should be looking forward if you're still lacking anything on your own jinwoo. So how about we go to the jinwoo's page. So here is my current jinwoo, it's level 98 of 100, I still haven't been able to get to the 100 level, I'm still grinding for it. I have 236,169 total power, but I can still go a bit higher if I change my weapon. So if I go into my weapon and I change into into Zig's fragment, you can see my highest current combat power on jinwoo, it's 245,176 power. I have Demonic Plume with 5 stars and the Zig's Fragment 5 stars. I have both, these two are my two strongest weapons, so they're going to be the ones with the highest power, that give me the highest power. As you can see in my stats, I have everything into strength, so I have 650 strength, with which gives me a total of 23,000 attack, 5,000 defense, and 16,000 HP. I have the latest job, the Monarch of Shadows, Master of the Abyss, so I'm using the new ultimate, which gives me a ton of damage. So if you haven't gotten to do the latest job exchange, I would advise you to do so. The hardest part should be the chapter 23, or if you have 150,000 total powered jinwoo. If you've played since the beginning, you probably should already have that amount of power. If not, you have to grind, especially the new artifacts. The level 78 ones are the best ones to gain combat power, so I will advise you to get 8 pieces of the level 78 curse set. For blessings, I'm using the legendary ones I got. The speed increase by 20% and the dash cooldown decrease by 20%. I really like it. It helps me dodge a ton of the boss's abilities and attacks. I really enjoy this blessing. I have the Blessing Stone Sharp Perception. It increases my crit rate by 2%, stacking 5 times, so it increases by 10% crit rate. I try to have 100% crit rate whenever I use my ultimate, so my abilities, of course, so I always crit. That's why I like to use this stone, but there's other options that you can use as well. I'm using the Reawakening Stone. It decreases my cooldowns by 20%, which is really good. It's a really huge cooldown reduction, so I'm able to use more skills and the ultimate faster, which is really nice. And for the last one, I'm using Bloodlust. When I'm hit, it decreases the attack of my opponent by 7%. When I attack, it decreases their defense by 7%. So it's both defensive rune and offensive one, which is really nice. So I really enjoy using it. It helps me survive longer and make sure I can clear the other bosses. Of course, if the combat power is way different, I won't be able to defeat them anyway, so it's not this blessing stone that will make the difference. For defensive ones, I like to use the daily quest completion, that gives me the res when you die the first time. I like to do the most of the stuff in auto, unless I'm going for the Workshop Brilliant Light. That mode I usually go on manual mode. But on auto, the auto bot, it's really bad mechanics, so it will take a ton of damage by just standing there most of the time, and this one at least guarantees that I can survive the first death on auto. That's why I like to use it. For the second one, I have the legendary one I got, that decreases team members the damage taken by 8%, so it's nice to prevent some damage. And the other legendary one, the damage taken decreases by 15%, and if I receive a shield, it decreases by 15%, which is really good because I have a skill that will benefit from this rune. I still haven't unlocked the fourth one. I think no one has. It should be in the next update. So that's the stuns I'm using. For skills, I'm using this one, Dagger Rush Explosion. I like to have the best break skills available. This legendary, so I like to use this. And it deals additional damage equal to 100% of attack. Since I have a ton of attack, this is really good. And applies a shield when I use this skill. The shield it's equal to 50% of the user's max HP, which isn't bad. I have a decent amount of HP, and with the shield increase effect from my stone, I get a huge shield. I like to use this especially on auto because I get almost a second life just from the shield, which is amazing to clear the modes on auto. And the other skill I'm using is the armor break. Decimation. It deals a ton of damage if you charge it, of course, and increases my critical hit damage by 15% for 5 seconds, which is a ton of crit damage, so I really enjoy the crit damage bonus I get from this skill. And with 2 break skills, I don't have to worry about going against bosses with the break shield. Of course, if I want to make sure I beat the bosses, I try to match the skills to the boss I'm currently fighting, but if it's just on a general basis, on auto, I usually use these skills, so I always have a break available to me when fighting against the bosses with a break gauge. And artifacts, I'm using the 8-piece Blessing of Curse. It increases my damage by 30% and additionally increases damage dealt by 0.2% every second, stacking to 100 times, so it increases in a total of 50% my overall damage, so I can deal as much damage as I possibly can. And since it's the curse set, it will be at level 78, which will give bonus stats from the level being higher than the rest of the equipments, which also gives you more combat power. So if you're going for combat power only, this is the best artifact sets to go for as the level 78 ones. On the head I have attack percent with defense penetration, additional attack and damage increase. This is probably my worst piece on the 8 artifacts I have. This is probably the worst one because it rolled twice into MP consumption. I'm still trying to find a better replacement. Once I find it I will switch, but it's the best one I have. It's still above 100 equipment score. For the body I have a damage increase and attack percent all into those two, which is nice, and additional attack on one of the substats. So it's not a perfect 4-piece substat, but with everything going to attack percent and damage increase, I have really good stats on chest, but as you can see it's a bit lower on the equipment score, but I think it's better than the other one because it's all into attack and damage increase, while the other one went into MP consumption reduction, which isn't that good. I think this piece is better than the other one because of that. On my gloves I have really good gloves, 4 stats, perfect stats with 2 on crit rate, so I'm almost covered with crit rate with just this piece alone. So I just need another crit rate substat without even needing any additional points to get the 50% crit rate cap. With defense penetration, attack percent and damage increase, it could roll into anything, which it would always be good, so it's probably my best equipment on him. On the boots, they're almost perfect. The last stat could have been attack percent or additional attack, but it's still a really good piece. It has an overall equipment score higher than the gloves, but it's because it's crit damage main stat with damage increase times 2 and the crit rate times 2. As you can see, I have way over the crit rate cap, that's why I only have crit rate on 2 pieces. I don't need them on the head nor the chest, and I have a ton of damage increase effects because of that. On my necklace I have critical hit damage times 2, damage increase times 1, attack percent and MP consumption. It's a good necklace, it just sucks that it rolled once into MP consumption reduction instead of attack percent. It's not perfect, but it's a really good necklace. I'm satisfied with it, for now at least. On the bracelet I have critical hit damage and defense penetration. even though it's only 2 stats are good, they have I rolled 3 times into the first penetration, which is amazing, and once into critical hit damage, so I dodged the 2 bad stats by a lot, and it's really good. I'm using dark damage because my best weapons are dark type, so I'm usually always having the Bloom Blossom Sword equipped, which is dark, so I always have dark damage main stat on the bracelet. My ring has attack percent, main stat, critical hit damage and damage increase. Again, it's not the best substats, but it rolled 3 times into damage increase and once into critical hit damage, so I don't need to roll anything else. It's a really good ring, even though it's only 2 stats that are good, but they hold into those 2 stats, so they're really good. And lastly, the earrings. They have 3 good stats. It hold once into everything. It could have been better if it didn't roll into MP recovery and hold into any of the other 3, but it's still a good earrings. They're not perfect, the best possible, but they're really good. Eventually they will release something better, and once they do, I'll have to grind again. And for now, I don't really need to focus so much on Sangjinu. The hunters will be better to upgrade instead of Sangjinu with these stats. Cores, I'm still grinding, so I don't have anything special. I have just a filler core in this one that gives me attack percent. These stats are useless. And another filler one just to get a bit of combat power. You can just equip for the combat power, and once you gain cores that you can actually use, you can replace them later. But yeah, they're just here to give me some combat power, nothing else. Yeah, if we go into the stat details, as you can see, I have 50% crit rate, 200% crit damage, 75% precision because of the weapons. That's why I don't need to go into precision. I already have good enough. 20% defense penetration and almost 30% damage increase, which is really good. I have speed because of the Blessing Stone. My dark damage is at 11% with 23,000 attack and 16,000 HP, 2,000 MP. And that's pretty much how my Sangjinu is looking like. And as I mentioned, I have the new ultimate for the ultimate ability. That's pretty much how my Sangjinu is looking. If you didn't have an idea how to build him, or at least you weren't reaching combat power as high as you could possibly go, I hope this helped you see a little bit into what you should be focusing on, especially in terms of artifacts and weapons. The more stars you have on the weapon, the better to increase your combat power. So if you just need combat power, you can use a weapon that you don't really use a lot, but has a lot of stars, just to increase your combat power, and sometimes that increasing combat power will be enough to defeat the boss, even though it's not the weapon you want. But the difference on the stars, it makes a huge difference. Every star is a couple thousand combat power, so it makes a huge difference. As you can see, I have 245, but if I go into my quarterstaff, which has no stars, I just lost almost 10k combat power because of that. That's how much the stars make a difference. And in terms of weapon skills, they're basically on the same level on all the skills. The quarterstaff, or is it? So the stars make a huge difference. And yeah, that's pretty much my Sangjinu. If you liked, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!